All right, so here is my summer project, which was creating a vertical panel saw. The idea came to me because we're doing a lot of sheet material like this in order to cut blanks for skateboards or whatever it might be. And I've struggled with using the tabletops and a handsaw. Matter of fact, there's a circular saw right there. So one of the things that we started working on with the CNC machine was actually creating brackets that were, in a sense, universal. The reason being is I discovered maybe towards the end of last year extruded aluminum and how they build the cases and other frameworks for this. Matter of fact, that's what we did for our CNC. We used this and these brackets. So it was great to make these prototypes. Some of the larger ones that we did, I did out of plastic in order to just, not waste material. And this is all recycled plastic. It can be re-chipped and so forth. So we made these in order to see up on the top bracket, as well as our angle brackets, ways to create these spacings. It did take some time, but once we got it mastered out, we're able to do two angle brackets. We can either do a right-right or a right-left combination for whatever our needs might be, and we did that through Fusion 360. So we got the CAM and the CAD all figured out and created these brackets. So let me walk you through some of these parts. All right, so here's what we've got. You can see where we created our brackets, both top and bottom, and then the angle pieces. One of the things that I did pick up from the 80/20 were the slide bearings or linear bearing guides, and these work really nice. We also then used a 2-inch angle iron in order to create the base, and those are just basically bolted in with little clips, and then I don't think you can see the actual hole in the bracket here, but we were able to just screw the mounts right onto the angle iron. And so this will slide the total rail up and down. One of the problems I do have is I have to use this clamp in order to hold the saw up. So let's go ahead and set that up real quick. All right, one of the things that we need to do with our sliding panel is to be able to support the panels that are out to the side, because usually your 4x8 sheets or whatever they might be will extend out. In order to try and work on repeatability, I've got this as of a couple of days ago, before I took my guide rail off, about 1/32 difference, top to bottom, over about, if you will, 4 feet. So not bad, but it'll be nice if we can get it a little bit tighter. So this, all that happens is it will slide in on the bottom rails, and hopefully we will remain or keep our repeatability in terms of those cuts. We'll just work on adjusting this a little bit, maybe take off just a first cut, trim cut, see, measure, and then see where our repeatability is. So let's go ahead and put this back on. All right, so I've put on the guide rail along the bottom. I haven't measured or double checked anything. I just screwed it back on into the 2 points that slide along the rail. So hopefully it's fairly close, because we didn't adjust this way, we were just sliding back and forth. I've got just a piece of hardboard up here. It's a little bit over 48 inches, so I'm just gonna try and trim it up. But notice that in terms of the 4x4 square that we're gonna make out of this, this holds it fairly nice. Again, I need to work on a bracket or a set screw so I can hold this up here. I don't have counterweight set up for it. The other thing that is maybe a little bit interesting about this one, I originally screwed up my width for actually mounting the saw was a little bit too narrow because the casing would actually hit on this rail. It wouldn't be able to get its depth of cut in here. So these little brackets that I have, I'm going to keep, and I'm going to actually do a panel router on the backside. So I will make a mounting plate. I will put a Bosch router on here. So on one side we can run the skill saw, flip it around, and then we can run a router. So we can do obviously deep cuts if we want anything routed out in there. So totally cool to be able to do something like that. So this is in a sense a 2-for-1 panel saw. Let's go ahead and cut this up, and then we will measure to see, after taking off the slide rail back on, how accurate the cuts really are. All right, so let's get to work. All right, so I just measured from the store-bought or the store finished side and over. On the bottom, I was 47 and 15/16, while at the top, I was 48 and 1/16. So that's an 1/8 of an inch difference from top to bottom in the 4 feet. So I'm not happy with that, but we will work again on trying to find that bottom rail and how to get repeatability behind that. I'm going for 0-0 top to bottom. However, in terms of something that is adjustable, always being moved, coming through, doing a practice cut for it, doing that measurement on that cut, and then readjusting is probably going to be just a standard practice on this machine. But also being able to get a panel router out of this by just flipping it over and doing that, that's a huge advantage for crafting or creating your own thing. Again, this was all prototyped and designed basically in Fusion 360, especially all of the metal brackets that we put together in order to build this. So first time summer project with the Tormach, and then being able to put this together, this is kind of cool. It turned out well.